Hello there, fellow math enthusiasts. Today we're going to talk about the surface area of prisms and cylinders. So keep in mind when we talk about surface area, we can break that down into lateral area and surface area. Lateral area is just the area of the faces. Surface area, we include everything that we can touch. So we take the lateral area and we add on two bases. So our lateral area formula for a prism is we take the perimeter of the base and we multiply it by the height of our prism. The surface area then, we take what we just had with the lateral area and we add on the area of two of the bases. So let's go ahead, let's look at this prism. When we're talking about our prisms, the shape of the base, it's always one of two things. If you see only rectangles, whatever it's seated on is automatically the base. If you see something other than a rectangle, like a triangle in this case, that's going to be our base. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to shade our base in. I've got a front base and I've got the back base. So the shape of the base here is a triangle. Now I want to know how many faces does this shape have. The faces are just the flat surfaces. So we have one in the front, one in the back, that's 2, and then 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. It's got 5 flat surfaces. The best name for this solid, well, first of all, this is a prism. This is called a triangular prism. And now I want to talk about the height. The height is always the distance between the two bases. So I have a front base, I have a back base, which means that the height is the distance between the two of them. In this case, the height of this solid is going to be 20 inches. All right, now I want to figure out what the missing side length of that triangle is. So I'm just going to redraw the triangle real quick here. Here is 9, here is 15. And that's a right angle. I want this missing side here. Hopefully with the right angle, you're thinking, ooh, that's a right triangle, which means we can use the Pythagorean theorem. We can say that this is 9 squared plus x squared is going to be equal to 15 squared. That's 81 plus x squared is going to be equal to 225. If we subtract off the 81, I'm out of room here, that's going to give me x squared is equal to 144. And if I take the square root, I'm going to get x to be equal to 12. So that missing side length is 12 inches. Now let's go ahead, let's see how we work with these formulas. I want to find the perimeter, the lateral area, the area of the base, and the surface area. So first of all, I'm going to shade in my base here. I've got a bottom base, and then I've also got this top base up here. To find the perimeter, well, if it's 12 in the back, it's 12 in the front. If it's 7 on the right, it's 7 on the left. So I'm going to say that this is 12 plus 7 plus 12 plus 7, which means that my perimeter is going to be 38 feet. To find the lateral area then, if you take a look back up at your formula, it says it's the perimeter times the height. Well, the perimeter is 38, and the height, the distance between those two bases, there's the height right there. My height is 6. So 38 times 6 will give me 228 feet squared. Now I need the area of the base, what I shaded in. 12 times 7. I'm going to get 84 feet squared. And then to find the surface area, I take that lateral area, which was 228, and I add to it 2 times 84, which will give me 396 feet squared. So notice here, when I found the perimeter, I used the perimeter again. When I found the lateral area, I used the lateral area again. When I found the area of the base, I used the area of the base again. You're going to see that every single time. All right, look at 7. I see something other than a rectangle, which means that those triangles are automatically my base. To find the perimeter, and I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to reorient which way that base is facing. Notice that the legs make up the right angle. So here's a 5, here's a 12, and then the hypotenuse I have down here is 13. So for the perimeter, I can say 5 plus 12 plus 13, which means that the perimeter is going to be 30 meters. To find the lateral area then, well, 30 times the height is the distance between the two bases. 30 times 3 will give me 90 meters squared. To find the area of the base, that's 1/2 base times height, so 1/2 of 12 by 5 means that the area of the base is 30 meters squared. And then my surface area, I can take the lateral area, I can add on 2 of those bases. So 90 plus 2 times 30 is going to give me 150 meters squared. Again, notice we found the perimeter, we used the perimeter. We found the lateral area, we used the lateral area. We found the base, we used the base. All right, let's go ahead, let's flip that on over. And we're going to go ahead and talk about a cylinder now. A cylinder is a solid with 2 congruent circular bases. Think about a soup can. That's an example of a cylinder. All right, the bases are going to be 2 congruent and parallel bases. All right, they will always be circles. The height still refers to the distance between the two bases, and the lateral area is still the area of that curved surface. Okay, now think about a soup can for a moment. When we talk about the lateral area, it's kind of like the soup label, right? If you've ever pulled off that soup label, notice it's just going to be a rectangle. We're basically finding the area of that rectangle that has a length of the circumference of the circle. All right, so to find the area of our base, we have our base formula. B is equal to pi r squared, because the base is always going to be a circle. Our lateral area, we take the circumference and we multiply it by a height. So we say 2 pi r times h. And then for the surface area, we take whatever that lateral area was and we add on 2 of the bases. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this first problem with the cylinders. The shape of the base for our cylinder, it will always be a circle. The height of the solid, well, I have a base here on the left, I have a base here on the right, which means the height is the distance in between the two. The height is going to be 14 centimeters. And then if I want to find the area of the base, well, this is a circle, so pi r squared, pi times 9 squared will give me 81 pi centimeters squared. All right, so let's go ahead, let's put these ideas together and let's start to work with the formulas here. I want to find the lateral area, that's LA, the area of the base, which is big B, and the surface area, which is SA. So I start off by doing 2 pi r times h. That's 2 pi times 4 times the height, which is 12. I'm going to multiply those numbers together. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 12 is 96. I put the pi right next door. It is 96 pi centimeters squared. I then am going to find the area of the base. Well, the base is a circle. That's pi r squared. So pi times 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Put the pi right next door. 16 pi centimeters squared. And then to find the surface area, well, I take the lateral area, which was 96 pi. And a cylinder has 2 bases, so I'm going to add on 2 times 16 pi. 2 times 16 is 32. 32 and 96 will give me 128 pi centimeters squared. So take a look. We found the 96 pi. We used the 96 pi. We found the 16 pi. We used the 16 pi. Let's try it again. The lateral area, notice that this cylinder is now tipped on its side. You've got a base on the left, you've got a base on the right. The distance between those is the height. So 11 meters is the height here. We're also seeing that this 18 represents the diameter. Well, if the diameter is 18, that means the radius has to be 9. So the values that I'm going to be using here are 9 and 11 as I work through my formulas. So the lateral area, 2 pi RH, 2 pi times the radius, which is 9, times the height, which is 11. 2 times 9 is 18, times 11 will give me 198 pi meters squared. To find the area of the base, that's pi r squared. Pi times 9 squared will give me 81 pi meters squared. And then the surface area, well, I'm going to take that lateral area. I'm going to add 2 of the bases to it. So that's 198 pi plus 2 times 81 pi. We'll do that part first, 2 times 81, and then add the 198. We'll get that that is 360 pi meters squared. Take note again, you found the 198 pi, you used the 198 pi. You found the 81 pi, you used the 81 pi. All of these are very procedural. So, Del Zadi is done for today. I will see you in class.